you've mentioned about hungry and determined players, and before that, you also mentioned about the plan that has been laid out by His Royal Highness Tengku Mahkota Johor. Other than that, can you tell us, based on your research, what drew you to come to Malaysia? One of the biggest factors.
His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince of Johor, was number one.
Yep. Oh, okay.
His vision and intent, and the revolution, the long-term view that he has, inspires me. And we're in construction zone of that. Yeah. So we're building pieces for that to happen.
And I imagine as a coach, you would want that.
It's exciting. It's exciting because we are literally in construction phase of that. You know, really trying to get the strongest foundation we can to build on top of that. And it's a legacy project for TMJ.
Yeah.
For me, that's without him, I'm not here.
Right. I think what's incredible about TMJ and the stuff that he has done is obviously there's a lot of complexity to the changes and the uplifting that has been brought upon Malaysian football over the last 11, 12 years or so. But one of the very simple things that we can observe with our plain eyes and realize just how big of a jump he has brought about is when you got the sight of Arif Aiman's name alongside Riyad Mahrez and Cristiano Ronaldo's and the biggest stars on this planet, all on the top scorers list. I think that sight alone, as trivial as it may sound, but that sight alone was such a powerful sight for fans.
Yeah.
And from your point of view, Coach, picking that first camp, what was that process like? Because there was a lot of traveling. I mean, obviously you were probably a bit more exposed to the Johor boys because of their constant participation on the continental stage, but you also then traveled a lot across Malaysia to get to know the players. What was that process like for you?
Yeah, again, it was a learning phase for me for sure, and that's why I come to the country with open eyes and open ears, and listen more than I talk. Yeah, and in that sense, I feel like I've absorbed a lot of the culture. I want to keep learning about the culture. I watched every game, whether it be live or on Astro. But I made sure I was watching every game possible. I went to training sessions as much as I could because you can watch a player in a game, but it's equally important to me what they do every day. And I want to build this mentality around the national team where we get better every day. And that has to happen in camp, but it has to happen out of camp as well. That was the first phase to get the camp, the March camp into a positive step. We worked hard in that preparation, watching as much as we could, learning the players as much as we could, learning the clubs, the coaches as much as we could to build the strongest team we could. And we've taken one step forward and we've got a lot more to do.
Coach, this nation has seen many types of coaches before this. Before this, we had a South Korean named Kim Pan-gon, who was more like a head of delegation with all his coaching staff. And before that, we had Tan Cheng Ho, who always not to say alone, but he made his judgment and stick to it very, very well. How do you describe your style of coaching from your own words? What kind of coach are you?
Well, that's a difficult one, but I'd say aggressive, intense, honest, hardworking, and create a team that's exciting to watch. How you define me is up to you. I don't know, but I'm definitely my own man in terms of how I want to work. I want to build an environment where players are getting better every day. For me, staff and all the staff members around me are really important to that. I value our environment so much, where our environment has to keep getting better every day. So I guess if you try and put me into words, I want to be a coach that gets better every day. And push that into the team.
I noticed the word aggressive came out first.
Yeah, I want to talk on that. The aggressive, honest, hardworking. If I'm being absolutely honest, Coach, when the both of us watched the first game against Nepal, those were probably the words we would use to describe how Malaysia played that day, which was really fun for us, right, as a fan. But obviously, we're fans and we're looking at the surface level. You're the person working with the players. those 3 words, did you see those traits in that camp? And talk to us about the game against Nepal.
Definitely, yeah. And that's the most inspiring thing as a coach, that you can see your team try and do something that you believe in. And every day I saw progression. Yeah. So if you give players or a team too much information, sometimes they lose it all. So we had this process of just giving them the right bits of information every day to keep building our game. And I guess the outcome of that, and I guess everybody before the game was nervous, scared, curious. Are we going to be good enough? Is this going to work? The whole country's probably thinking that. Yeah. Within that, there's probably players thinking, "Am I good enough? Am I ready?" This is the anxiety of going into the first game. Staff as well. But for me, no chance. I knew we'll be okay because of the work we put in, trust the process. So what we saw, I thought was a good first step, positive first step. We were aggressive, we were hardworking, we were honest, and we played some exciting stuff. Am I happy with it? Yes, as a starting point, but we have so much more to do. I think we had good phases of plays. We've had good patterns. We were strong, we were committed, we were intense. But I want more, and we can build more, and that's what we have to do.
There's a few buzzwords in modern football these days, Coach. Principles, style of play, idea. You know, I'm sure you get them all the time, right? It's words that are thrown around so much these days, and
especially by us journalists.
No. Oh, everybody.
And it almost makes it sound like the job of a coach isn't just to coach, but it's also to be a salesman, to sell the idea, to sell the principle to the players, to compel them to buy into it. And what has been that process like for you? Convincing the players of this is the best way for us to all move forward in a unified direction.
Yeah, and that's the most important part, is to be unified as a team to do that. And that's what I mean by every day I saw what we needed in terms of the progress we made as a team every day from training perspective, because we were aggressive, we were intense, we were playing some good stuff, we were developing our game piece by piece, and in 8 or 9 days of training we took some good steps, and you saw that connect to a good performance, something that we can build on. And you saw the players committed to that, So you saw the players focused every day, but also in the game, focused and disciplined to execute what we're trying to do. So that showed that they believed in the way forward. But like I say, good first step, and there's more to come.